One person who was always anti-Diddy and was always speaking about Diddy as a problematic person was 50 Cent.
He would do a lot of foul shit. Like behind the scenes, he would do some foul shit. Like,
But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
Puffy was playing with your booty in Miami.
Imagine watching a man who spent 30 years building the perfect image, the picture of cool, calm control, shatter right before your eyes. That's exactly what happened on day 3 of a courtroom battle no one saw coming. This wasn't just a trial, it was the slow-motion collapse of an empire, triggered by unexpected arrivals, devastating evidence, and a rival nobody thought would show up. And the moment it all started to crack, when the carefully constructed mask of Sean Diddy Combs finally fell off, revealing something the public had never seen before.
Now, Fifth, when you continuously call Puff gay, does that affect your relationships in Hollywood?
I don't call him gay. I said,
Let me read it, Fifth.
Oh my God.
Sorry I can no longer help you guys. Soon you will all be gay and happy. You are all now left under leadership of Puffy Daddy. Report to the nearest rainbow. Dinner Thieves in theaters January 9th.
That's why he says things. He doesn't even know what he's saying is like fruity. You know what I'm saying? Like he says something fabulous and he goes, "Yo, but me and you, we ain't party. Like we need to party." What is he talking about? That's the kind of stuff that when people say that to me, I get a little uncomfortable. I get uncomfortable. Like he said something to me one time, a long time ago, at Chris Lighty's wedding. He told me he'd take me shopping. I looked at him like, what'd you just say? Let me move, man, before I do something. You're gonna make me mess up the wedding.
Oh, that's a nice gesture.
Let me get out of no, dude, take me. That's what a guy says to a girl.
Did he do it, right?
Yeah.
I know
He did it.
you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually. But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated.
Was there a reason you never went to those parties back in the day?
I'm just not with all that flicky shit. Like all of the stuff that he's doing, I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm just a little more, maybe you could say basic or normal.
For decades, Diddy was the master illusionist of Hollywood. He crafted this persona of the unshakable mogul, someone who could glide through scandals, bad press, and tough questions without a single hair out of place. Remember the stories? How he'd practice interview answers for hours in the mirror, hire media trainers to simulate pressure situations, employ a whole team just to manage his public appearance? Sources close to him spilled details about this level of control. It was obsessive. His former assistant even shared how Diddy would rehearse reactions, ensuring he never seemed rattled. It worked. For 30 years, we saw the smooth operator, the man who could pivot from any controversy with a smile and a perfectly adjusted suit jacket. But behind the designer glasses, things were different. Whispers about a volatile temper, rage issues, and explosive outbursts circulated among those who worked closely with him. A former Bad Boy staffer, speaking off the record, described 2 distinct Diddys, the public face and the private storm. Phones thrown, walls punched, stories that never gained traction because no one with real weight dared to back them up. Diddy's power kept a lid on everything. The first tiny fissures in this carefully built fortress started appearing just days before the trial kicked off. Photographers caught him snapping at a fan, a rare public display of irritation. Then, that tense pre-trial press conference where he gripped the podium so hard his knuckles went white. Small things, yes, but telling. A PR crisis manager later explained it like building a fortress wall. Under enough pressure, even the strongest walls crack. And once they start, the whole structure can crumble fast. And crumble it did, starting on day 3. The courtroom tension was already thick when the door swung open and he walked in. The one person Diddy absolutely did not want to see supporting his accuser. His long-standing industry rival, a man known for holding grudges and having the resources to back them up. The moment 50 Cent stepped into that room, witnesses say the air went out of Diddy. His face went completely pale. Nobody expected 50 to physically be there. Sure, he'd been relentless online, trolling Diddy mercilessly since the lawsuits dropped, posting the hotel video with captions like, "Money can't hide who you really are." He hinted at having more dirt, more receipts, but showing up in person, that was a power move no one anticipated.
The docu-series on Netflix, I can't wait to see this. The other end of that, every person who has tried to speak out about this, who has tried to speak out about the industry, the type of people that are controlling the industry, the attacks that people face from the media if they try to speak out, is always the same. They're called crazy. And an example of one such individual who went through those sorts of attacks is the actor Orlando Brown. He was on Disney, and I remember everyone telling us that he was totally insane and deranged when he was saying a lot of things that at the time sounded crazy, particularly about Diddy. Take a listen.
The requirement is you gotta say no to Diddy. If it's new booty in the building, you know he gonna get it.
Don't take your girlfriend to a Diddy party.
You can take the, but he won't you.
Diddy, to me, is the fall guy. We are still seeing a major effort to protect the big names, just like with Jeffrey Epstein.
Tell him the story.
Tell him the story. So we talking about rumors, right?
Yeah.
And we, when you Google his name, there's a rumor that pops up that he was Diddy's boy toy.
Oh shit!
Right?
Wait, so this is
so Charlamagne said
It's not true, but I told after he brought up the stuff with you, I said, you know what 50 gonna say when he meets you?
Oh no, I don't know that was going on.
You know,
I can't wait to run into him again.
What you gonna say to him?
Puffy was playing with your booty in Miami.
You know what 50 gonna say to you when he sees you.
What?
I heard Diddy touch your butt.
Yeah. Wait till I see him. Wait till I see him. I'm like, yo. Yeah.
The history between these two runs deep, almost 2 decades of active animosity. 50 Cent never pulled punches, questioning Diddy's sexuality, bringing up old rumors, even hinting about Biggie's murder. This wasn't just industry beef. It felt personal, raw. So when 50 took a seat in the back row, looking cool and collected in a tailored black suit, the entire courtroom energy shifted. Every eye darted between him and Diddy. Diddy, who had been leaning over whispering to his attorney, suddenly sat bolt upright, head snapped back. According to 3 different witnesses, his expression cycled rapidly. Confusion, then shock, then something that looked undeniably like fear. Court reporter Janelle Martin described the silence as so profound, you could hear phone vibrations. What most people didn't know was the backstory. 50 Cent had been quietly communicating with Cassie's legal team for weeks, reaching out right after her lawsuit, believing her story, and wanting to help in any way he could. A source close to the situation revealed 50's team made the initial contact. He's always played the long game against his enemies.
Happening with Puffy? I know you're not really tapped in, but what
the last thing I saw was like a guy there. He was like, yo, he like pushed me into the truck. It really hurt. And he sounded me. Like he sounded me. I was like, yo, look, I could find other things to do for money.
Then came the bombshell dropped outside the courtroom during the lunch recess. 50 Cent, facing a crowd of waiting reporters, didn't just voice support for Cassie. He announced he was personally funding additional legal support for her case through his G-Unity Foundation. "I'm putting money behind making sure survivors get heard," he told the press, adding, "I'm going to help more women come forward with their stories about powerful men in this industry." He even framed it as bigger than their rivalry, saying, "This isn't about me and Diddy's history. This is about right and wrong." When this news reached Diddy inside the courtroom, witnesses say his reaction was immediate and violent. He slammed his fist on the defense table so hard his water glass tipped over. His lawyer tried desperately to calm him, but Diddy was visibly shaking. Court security even moved closer to the defense table, anticipating a potential outburst. The timing was devastatingly perfect for Cassie's side, because just as Diddy was losing control, the prosecution announced they were about to present new, critical evidence. Evidence that would directly contradict Diddy's sworn testimony from the day before. Evidence nobody was prepared for. The courtroom screens lit up, and that's when everything changed completely. The prosecution introduced security footage from Diddy's Miami residence, dated April 2018. The defense team objected, claiming they hadn't been provided with this evidence. An intense huddle at the judge's bench followed, while Diddy repeatedly glanced back at 50 Cent in the back row, cracking his knuckles. When the judge ruled the evidence admissible, everyone leaned forward. The silent video played, showing Diddy and Cassie in a hallway. No sound, but the body language was clear. Diddy was pointing, yelling, backing Cassie against a wall. Then came the moment that drew audible gasps. The video showed Diddy grabbing Cassie by the shoulders, shaking her violently, and pushing her to the ground. Diddy's reaction was instantaneous and uncontrollable. He shot up so fast his chair crashed backward. "That's not what happened," he shouted before his attorney physically pulled him back down, whispering frantically in his ear. But Diddy's face had transformed. Eyes wide, breathing heavy. A court officer moved closer. What made this footage so utterly damning wasn't just the content, it was Diddy's sworn testimony from just the previous day. Under oath, he had stated unequivocally, "I have never in any instance physically assaulted Ms. Ventura or any woman." He even added, "There are no videos or evidence of such behavior because it never occurred." As the prosecutor calmly pointed out this direct contradiction, Diddy's composure completely collapsed. He shook his head, muttered to himself, and at one point just put his head down on the table. His attorney requested a recess, but the judge denied it, stating firmly, "Mr. Combs needs to maintain his composure." A bailiff later told reporters he'd never seen a defendant's demeanor shift so dramatically in a single session. It was like watching someone fundamentally change. As court adjourned for the day, this explosive evidence sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Texts flew, loyalties were questioned, sides were rapidly chosen. The carefully constructed wall of silence around Diddy's alleged behavior was cracking wider with every passing minute. The fracturing of Hollywood was swift and brutal. Before the trial, Diddy's power was absolute. His famous friends formed a protective circle, attending his parties, collaborating, defending him publicly against rumors. Nobody dared speak against him for fear of ending their own career. But after day 3, after the footage and the courtroom meltdown, that code of silence shattered. The real catalyst? 50 Cent. By publicly, physically backing Cassie and pledging financial support, he gave permission for others to follow suit. An industry source revealed 50 coming out for Cassie opened the floodgates. Suddenly, people felt they could support her without being the first one to speak up. The unfollow started immediately. Usher, a frequent collaborator, quietly removed Diddy from his Instagram. Mary J. Blige, a longtime friend from the bad boy era, did the same. Justin Bieber, once mentored by Diddy, not only unfollowed but deleted all past photos together. These weren't random acts. They were calculated statements of distance.
He would do a lot of foul shit. Like behind the scenes, he would do some foul shit. Like hating on, like doing things with people I'd done business with that he done business with. He would say shit that I was like, he said that to you?
Right.
I was like, yeah, it's all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and niggas don't know what they like till they see somebody with it. So they want the girls after you're done with them and shit.
Yeah, leftovers.
Yeah.
You take your leftovers. A lot of niggas have my leftovers.
Cassie was not offended by what I was offended by. This is
Wow, they found Kendrick and Wifey.
You know, that's obviously doing shopping. They got the same outfit.
Yeah,
and
it's
wore
true.
it in public.
Yeah, that's a nice shirt. That was a nice shirt. All right, so when he said the shopping line, in real life, what did you say?
I said, let me get away from him. Because it was like, he was like, yo, you hot now. Now we got to hang out now. Like, you know, like hang out.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know, maybe I'll take you shopping and I get you some flash and you could give me the hood shit. And I was looking and I was like, let me just move away from him because I'm gonna mess up the wedding. I always say to myself, like,
it was someone's wedding?
It was Chris Lighty's wedding. It was in Miami. Nori's there. Nori knows this because I looked at him like, yo.
The social media battlefield became a passive-aggressive minefield. Celebrities started posting cryptic messages clearly aimed at the situation without naming Diddy directly. Lizzo posted, "Believe women, plain and simple." The Weeknd shared a black screen with, "Power doesn't equal truth." Even Drake, usually removed from industry drama, posted, "The truth always surfaces eventually." Others were more direct. Cardi B went live saying, "I've seen this type of behavior in the industry for years. It's time we stop protecting abusers just because they got money." Everyone knew exactly who she meant. But perhaps the most telling sign of Diddy's falling star? His calls aren't being returned. A member of his management team confided that A-listers who used to drop everything for Diddy are now screening him. Rihanna, who he's reportedly called 6 times since the courtroom incident, hasn't picked up. Rumors are swirling about Beyoncé and Jay-Z refusing to issue supportive statements, despite desperate pleas from Diddy's team. Meanwhile, support for Cassie is growing stronger by the hour. Female artists who previously worked with Diddy are reportedly reaching out to her legal team, offering to testify about their own experiences. Celebrities who normally steer clear of legal drama are posting messages of support. Lady Gaga sent flowers to Cassie's home with a simple note, "I believe you." According to someone close to Cassie, this level of public support would have been unimaginable just a week ago. Diddy's iron grip on the industry meant criticizing him was career suicide. Now, the power balance has completely flipped. With each passing day, more celebrities abandon the sinking ship. But the real legal explosion and Diddy's final complete loss of control was still to come, waiting for Cassie to take the stand herself. The atmosphere when Cassie finally took the stand on day 3 was electric. The courtroom was packed, reporters in the back, celebrities scattered throughout, and 50 Cent still sitting stoically in the back row, arms crossed. Diddy's agitation had been building all morning. A court clerk noticed him whispering more and more loudly to his attorneys. His leg bounced incessantly under the table. He loosened his tie, then tightened it again. Classic signs of someone about to snap. Cassie began her testimony calmly, making eye contact with the jury, describing an incident from 2019 where Diddy allegedly threatened her career. He said he made me, and he could destroy me just as easily, she stated. Diddy started shaking his head almost immediately. His attorney kept placing a hand on his arm, a silent plea for him to stay calm. The judge noticed his behavior too. A court reporter saw her pass a warning note to Diddy's lawyer. The breaking point arrived when Cassie described a party at Diddy's Hamptons house in 2018. She testified he had locked her in a bedroom for 2 days after seeing her talking to another music executive. As she recounted this, Diddy's face transformed. His eyes widened, jaw tightened, a vein on his forehead becoming visibly prominent even from the gallery. The courtroom artist perfectly captured that moment, a look of pure, unadulterated rage, unlike anything the public had ever seen from the man known for his cool. Suddenly, Diddy shot up from his chair. His attorney grabbed his suit jacket, trying to pull him back down, but it was too late. "That's all lies!" he shouted, pointing directly at Cassie on the stand. "You know what you did!" The entire courtroom froze. Even the court reporter stopped typing for a split second. Cassie flinched but kept her eyes forward, not looking at him. But Diddy wasn't done. He turned his head toward the back of the courtroom, his gaze locking onto 50 Cent. "And you!" he yelled, his voice cracking with fury. "You'll regret getting involved in this."
I feel like all these years, you've been the only one calling this out.
I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long time.
They said you're a hater. They said you're crazy.
You do this, yeah, and now everybody's complaining. My ass is hurting. There's all this shit that's coming.
50, you can't make jokes about it.
No.
The internet might come for you, bro.
All I'm saying
is might come for you.
You see it now. All of these complaints. People were damn, they were and pillaged. This was what was going on, right? And what do I get for the? I went through years of a hater. You're a hater. You want this and that. I'm just watching. Like I look at things and go. When you see the new lawsuit coming for Jay, the part with Jay, I go, oh shoot, like. Then I think about it, I go, that had to be there. So when I was saying that he was missing, he just wasn't actively being out there because they was dealing with that.
Wait, do you think there's truth to the Jay thing? There's no way.
Like that, look, you know, so, like if you say, I have this thing where I'm conflicted when it takes you 20 years to remember something happened to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I go also 10 years, 20 years later, it comes back. And it's like all of Puff's problems are coming from the ministers touching little boys.
What you mean?
The laws are the way they are because
because of the priests.
The priests touching little boys.
Court security immediately moved toward Diddy. 2 officers positioned themselves between him and the witness stand. Another stood directly behind his chair. Judge Harmon slammed her gavel 3 times, the sound echoing through the stunned silence. "Mr. Combs, you will control yourself in my courtroom," she demanded, her voice stern. "One more outburst, and I will hold you in contempt. Security, please remain in position." Diddy's lead attorney stood up, trying to request a recess, but the judge cut him off sharply. "Sit down, counsel. We will continue." Spectators couldn't believe what they were witnessing. Diddy, the man who had built his entire global brand on being calm and collected, completely losing control in the most public setting possible. A juror was seen writing furiously in her notebook immediately after the outburst. Clearly, it had made a significant impact. Through all of this chaos, Cassie remained remarkably composed on the stand. She took a sip of water and continued her testimony as if nothing had happened. Her attorney later noted this composure came from a place of newfound confidence, knowing she finally had powerful allies in her corner like 50 Cent. And speaking of 50, his reaction to Diddy's public threat? A slight, almost imperceptible smile and a slow, deliberate nod, as if to say, "Bring it on. I'm exactly where I want to be." The power dynamic had flipped completely, right before everyone's eyes. In the immediate aftermath, Diddy's legal team huddled in crisis mode. Their carefully crafted defense strategy, painting him as a calm, reasonable businessman who would never harm anyone, had utterly collapsed the moment he started shouting threats in court. A legal insider revealed they spent the entire night scrambling, rewriting their approach. The perfect gentleman angle was no longer sellable to the jury. Their new emergency strategy? Playing the victim. The very next morning, Diddy's attorneys filed an urgent motion requesting a mistrial, claiming 50 Cent's presence was a deliberate attempt to provoke their client and create a prejudicial environment. They even included screenshots of 50's social media posts as evidence of a coordinated campaign to influence the trial. But the judge wasn't having it. She denied the motion within hours, writing that Mr. Combs' behavior was solely his own responsibility. Now, Diddy's team is scrambling for a fallback, a defense that might actually acknowledge some of Cassie's claims while trying to dispute others. They are reportedly trying to paint him as passionate but misunderstood, a complete 180 from their initial strategy. Meanwhile, Cassie's legal team is perfectly capitalizing on Diddy's meltdown. Her lead attorney has requested the judge allow 3 new witnesses who previously declined to testify. These witnesses reportedly came forward after seeing Diddy lose his cool and his power visibly slip in court, finally feeling safe enough to share their stories. Sources close to the case suggest these potential witnesses include a former security guard and 2 assistants with first-hand knowledge of Diddy's alleged behavior. 50 Cent continues to turn up the heat too. Since the courtroom confrontation, he's posted multiple times about the case, each message more pointed. His most recent post showed a split screen of Diddy in court next to the security footage with the blunt caption, "Actions speak louder than lawyers." It went viral instantly. He's also announced a new documentary series titled Music Industry Secrets, which many believe will heavily focus on Diddy and the surrounding allegations. Perhaps the most striking change is Cassie herself. Court observers noted her completely different demeanor when she returned to testify after Diddy's outburst. She sat taller, spoke with more confidence and clarity. Her attorney confirmed this shift, stating, "My client feels validated. She's finding her voice with each day of this trial." Legal experts believe Diddy's courtroom behavior severely damaged his case, perhaps more than any testimony. Jury consultant Sarah Matthews explained that jurors are heavily influenced by the behavior they witnessed themselves. They just watched him lose control, erupting in anger and threats. That image is likely to stick with them more than any carefully constructed defense. Another trial analyst observed the jury's body language visibly shifted after the outburst, with several members physically leaning away from Diddy. Beyond the courtroom drama, Diddy's business empire is showing significant cracks. Shares in his Revolt Media company reportedly dropped after the courtroom incident. Major brands are quietly pausing partnerships with his liquor companies. His talent agency is said to be reviewing his representation. Industry insiders estimate he could lose hundreds of millions of dollars in business deals, regardless of the trial's outcome. The power dynamics have flipped completely. Diddy, who once seemed untouchable, is watching his empire crumble in real time, while Cassie gains momentum and support daily. With 50 Cent openly promising more revelations and seemingly ready for a prolonged fight, this case has become much bigger than just one relationship. It's potentially exposing secrets the entire music industry has kept hidden for decades, showing that even the most powerful figures might finally be held accountable. The silence is breaking, and the music industry power map just got completely redrawn.